Folks, during the Northern Song dynasty, there was a scholar named Pan Dalen who spent every day pondering how to write excellent poems. One day, he finally came up with an exquisite line of poetry only for a sudden heavy rain to strike. Unexpectedly, this single line sparked discussions across the entire city and even gave birth to the idiom a storm enveloping the city. His old servant asked if he had thought of a poem line. Pan Dalen's eyes lit up. Yes, the city is filled with wind and rain as the Double Ninth Festival draws near. Just listen to this line. It not only captures the atmosphere of late autumn but also conveys the feeling that a festival is approaching. How charming it is. Even the old servant couldn't help but nod in praise. But just as he was about to write the second line, dark clouds suddenly gathered in the sky, and a strong wind blew up, sending his poetry paper fluttering everywhere. Pan Dalen quickly reached out to hold it down, thinking to himself, why did the weather change so suddenly? Immediately after, big raindrops began to pound down. Pan Dalen hurriedly gathered his poetry paper, ink, and brush. Rushing indoors, even the hem of his robe got soaked. Hiding in his thatched hut, Pan Dalen watched the heavy rain inside. He clutched the poetry paper with "The city is filled with wind and rain as the Double Ninth Festival draws near" written on it, reading it over and over again. His inspiration had been completely disrupted by the rain, and he couldn't think of the second line no matter how hard he tried. In the evening, when the rain stopped, his friend Huang Tingjian visited him despite the rain and asked if he had any new poems. Pan Dalen handed over the poetry paper. I only thought of this one line. The rain ruined my inspiration for the second. Huang Tingjian took it, read it, and his eyes lit up instantly. Huang Tingjian read, "The city is filled with wind and rain as the Double Ninth Festival draws near" repeatedly, praising it loudly. What a wonderful line. This single line perfectly captures the bleakness of late autumn and the sense of the festival. But Pan Dalen smiled bitterly. It's a pity there's only one line. It can't become a complete poem. The next day, Huang Tingjian told this line to all the scholars and poets in the city. Everyone gathered in tea houses to pass around the poetry paper, praising it one after another. This line has an extraordinary artistic conception. It's a masterpiece that will stand the test of time. Within a few days, this line spread throughout Huangzhou City. Even the storytellers on the streets began to talk about it. Today, I want to tell other stories instead. I'll talk about Mr. Pan Dalen's half-complete poem. The city is filled with wind and rain as the Double Ninth Festival draws near. The audience listened with great interest and even recited the line softly along with the storyteller. Not only scholars and poets, but even ordinary people were talking about this poem line. Citizen A said, Mr. Pan's poem has spread all over the city, and Citizen B replied, even my child can recite it. It's a shame there's no follow-up. The scholars even organized a literary gathering specifically to continue writing the second line of the poem. Everyone picked up their brushes and wrote many versions, but no matter how they read them, none had the charm of the original line. The more they struggled to continue it, the more they cherished Pan Dalen's half-complete line. The old servant returned from the city and brought Pan Dalen a message. Your poem is known throughout the city, and everyone wants to write a follow-up for you. Pan Dalen was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, I never expected a half-finished poem to cause such a stir. A few days later, even the tavern owner had heard about it. When a scholar asked, is there a follow-up to the poem? The owner replied, now the whole city is talking about the city filled with wind and rain. People discuss it whenever they meet. On the eve of the Double Ninth Festival, the two climbed a hill to enjoy the autumn scenery. Huang Tingjian joked with Pan Dalen, your poem has truly caused a storm enveloping the city now. Pan Dalen laughed too. A heavy rain and a half-complete poem actually became the talk of the whole city. Later, a wooden poetry plaque engraved with a storm enveloping the city was hung at the entrance of tea houses in Huangzhou City. Gradually, everyone came to know that originally described the weather in Pan Dalen's poem, and later came to mean that a matter spreads everywhere and is discussed by everyone.